All right, I did get a text message from somebody. Who from New York, Los Angeles, Burbank, California, has stolen my bank accounts and identity card, passports. My name is Hispanic Camp. I own many food. I own many food and technology companies such as Bell Labs and Willy Wonka. What the fuck? Meth for sure. Not like me, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Calling this round.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi there. This is the Spy for Hire. You texting me?
Yeah. Texted you.
Yeah.
Poster on the.
Yeah. I was a little confused by your text message there, so I first had to check if you were a real person. Seems like you're real.
Yeah, I got a lot of problems. Yeah, the CIA went to war against my country. They did a lot of bad deals. You see a lot of people going to jail.
All right. I don't think I could do
you
anything
be
with
careful.
that.
You be careful. You know they've been killing witnesses.
Killing witnesses to what?
To all these crimes.
What country are you from?
You got that? Iran.
Oh,
and Greece.
Well, that was not in your text message. You said something that your bank account was stolen.
Yeah, they stole my passports. They seized my family's bank account. It goes all the way back to Jimmy Carter.
The CIA.
Yeah, they're horrible. It's a horrible, you got a lot of problems underground too, They've just been covering up their ignorance for almost 1,000 years now.
Yeah, I don't.
Be careful. You want to now. You text message me my phone. My phone is hacked by the NSA. So you be careful. Never know.
Well, why did you reach out to me?
Well, I saw your poster on the pole. I've reached out to the FBI, and this America is bankrupt. A lot of countries went bankrupt after World War II.
Right.
Essentially, all the countries that still had any money were the ones that didn't engage in the war fully. So Japan went bankrupt. Germany was bankrupt. England was bankrupt. And essentially, the Middle East bank bailed everybody out.
Okay.
So now they don't want to pay off their debts. So now they're doing all this horrible dealing, stealing people's bank accounts. There's no gold in the Federal Reserve now. That's why they're trying to switch over to the crypto.
Well, I'm aware of some of the things you're telling me, but I'm just trying to personally help people right now. Is there anything I can help you with personally?
Yeah, you get the word out. You want to put in a complaint to the FBI. Tell them to tell the truth.
Well, I just got fired from my agency. I'm camping out in the woods right now, so I ain't trying to do all that.
Yeah, you try to keep your head on your shoulders too, huh?
Yeah. I do this just to keep my head clear because I've been hearing signals and stuff. So they're definitely trying to get to me in a different, very weird way.
Like radio frequency signals you're receiving?
Yeah, I black out. I wake up in weird places. Sometimes I'm covered in blood.
Where did they put some implants in you? Sometimes they'll swap out, knock out a tooth, put a fake tooth in, put things in your sinuses.
I've checked. I think this is something that goes deeper from when I was a kid. The gift program.
I'm not familiar with the gift program, but I am familiar with the Greys. I've been up on the stone halo that orbits around the Earth. With the Lemurians. In my country, Iran, we're very friendly with the Lemurians and the Greys.
I'm sorry. Are you saying Greys? Like, do you know about Grey Industries?
No, the Grey, little Grey aliens.
We talk about aliens. All right. No, I'm being harassed by us. All I know is their code name is Mr. Gray. Have you ever heard of Mr. Gray?
I haven't heard that specifically. They got a lot of cover programs for essentially what they're doing is these black ops. There's a lot of off-world trading.
Yeah.
They try to get it like the new types of seed crystals. And then they try to get their own cybernetic upgrades. They're trying to make super soldiers. Like they're still doing the Nazi experiments.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a Winter Soldier, because I swear every time I hear a certain pattern of words, I just black out, and then I wake up in weird places.
Do you have like any like specific areas where you have pain at inside your head or inside your sinuses?
Just feels like a giant. It just feels like a giant migraine when it happens, and then when it's done, I feel like the worst nausea and hungover, and I can't remember anything.
What I've been doing, and I've been feeling a lot better because I was doing 30 years that research. Lost memories. I'm blacking out too. And so I ended up finding probably about half an ounce. These little fucking worms and these other little transponders. They pack into my sinuses and to my ears. And so what I do is I use a lot of lemons. You got to get the pH up.
Right.
Aloe vera. You get your pH up over 8. A lot of those, if they're organic,
right,
the radio frequency responders, if they're organic, will die. You can take the lemon oil, put that up your nose, put that in your ears.
I'll try it. I will definitely try that. But I think whatever they did to me was implanted to me in a very young age, and I don't know how you get rid of that.
Well, a lot of it, they go in through the nose. They go in through the nose, and a lot of it, and then make attachments to the ears. And so then if you can be triggered by audio signals, and then you can be triggered by olfactory signals, things that you smell.
Yeah.
Space. That's how we do a lot of the slaving, like with Anunnaki. The old soldiers, they end up in outer space. They get slaved with the ears and with the nose, straight to the brain. It's kind of horrible, It's like they clean yourself out, It's the FBI. It's horrible. They try to do their research and they end up getting fucking upgrades too. Like you got the Nosferatu living underground.
I'm sorry. The Nosferatus? I'm not familiar with the Nosferatus. Who are those?
Nosferatus are pretty much like we have wings. Sometimes we're born with pretty big ears too.
Are you talking about vampires?
That's kind of like the cover story that we came up with. Probably around 1,000 years ago, because we kind of went to war with the resident humans on the surface. Because the Nosferatu, we got wings and we can fly up, and there's wormholes on the outer atmospheres that you can travel to the moon, you can travel to Venus, to Mars. There's a lot of spaceships that travel around.
Wow. I mean, I was familiar with some of the stuff you're telling me, but you are blowing my mind with the other stuff. Because I've heard, the agency I worked for, I don't even want to message it. I don't even tell you to get you involved, but they had me doing a lot of very just messing with people's minds, just sneaking into people's homes and psychological warfare. Just changing furniture, changing things, just to mess with them. See how long people would break.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like it's a lot of different levels of programming, and then tempting other people to fucking with your morality senses.
What did you work with an agency?
See, I came up in Iran in the royal family, and it's because I was already traveling, spent a lot of time on Mars. I was back and forth to the moon. You know, I grew up with Lemurians. You know, like the big cats. What about them? You know, they're the ones with a lot of little flying saucers. So it's different when you grow up with it. And then in the 1960s, the U.S. wanted to get more access to the fuels. You know, they need the rocket fuels to build those big masses. Yeah. So for years, you know, we were using the Zeppelin, you know, the hot air balloon. But you have to have permission to get up there. If you don't have permission, you know, the Lemurians are going to shoot your ass down.
The Lemurians? Hello?
Yeah, so the Germans, you know, you gotta respect the Lemurians.
All right. I have to ask you, do you know about Smokey the Bear? Do you remember Smokey the Bear? Hello?
Yeah, so you got other cultures that have already been spacefaring for many years. You know, like Germany, China, Japan, up in the mountains. You know, they've already got their routes through the wormholes, and they send a lot of their like the mummies. You got the magnetic stones, and they float over the earth. They got different types of ships, also wood and light.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a pay to play situation. You know?
That is life right now.
Yeah.
By the way, you mentioned I own many food and technology companies such as Bell Labs and Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I own thousands of companies. You know, my family. You know, they poisoned my mother. My uncle got cracked off in the 80s. 2 cousins.
But why are they after you? Who's after you? The CIA?
Yeah, well, for a while it's for the money, and you know they're trying to give me you know quiet. You know, a lot. You know, they've been offering the news reporters too. From the 1980s. They still have my passports. They still
Wow. I'm very sorry. Are you on the move now? Because it sounds very windy where you are.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not too far away from the pier. You know, it's horrible. You know, the police, they got like a shadow file on me.
A shadow file.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
They don't want to engage me anymore. You know, they just hang up the phone. You know, I've probably at least half a dozen Chicago police officers I've had to, you know, defend myself against, breaking necks. You know, I got a lot of karate experience and ninjutsu. You know, I've been attacked a lot of times, so many times. We got diplomatic immunity. It's horrible. You know, trying to get into contact. My country wants to go to war. You know, they're tired of the bullshit. You know, you've been watching the news.
Oh yeah, it really feels not things are not great. Not great at all. And I'm sorry to hear about that, all the stuff you told me here. I wish I could help you, but even I don't want to fuck with the CIA.
They don't fuck them, you know. They're a bunch of pussies. I tell you what, they're out there sucking Nosferatu dick, trying to get the next level secret. You know, a lot of these RF transponders that they implant are actually sperm. If you can get the sperm, there's certain species that the organic material makes excellent radio frequency transponders.
How do they get it in the sperm? Whose sperm? That's a new one. I never heard about that one.
Well, you know, they do a lot of sick shit in the Masonic cults and the Illuminati cults.
Right.
You know, a lot of different sex rituals.
Bohemian Grove, yeah.
Yeah, they try to get the blackmail on the kids and then the adults too, and a lot of it's the Nosferatus. You know, we've been at war with these
With the
You know, it's a good thing we
Nosferatus?
have the Nosferatu. It's a good thing we have the internet now. You know, and
Is
my
it?
main thing was in the. Yeah, I think so. You get the price of the book has gone down. People aren't willing to sell their soul for a new book. You know, you can get some information right there on the internet. Strengthen your body right there on the internet. You know, get some good
Yeah,
instructions.
but they're also spreading mass information through the internet these days.
Yeah, misinformation too. Yeah, you know, it's a shame. And what the well, see, my internet is hard. The algorithm is hacked.
Yes, I agree.
You know,
Some
I got
do you have you noticed that people see different ads now and on the billboards? You ever noticed that?
no, I haven't. What the people are saying that like the images appear differently to different people.
Yeah, yeah. Because how many times do you talk about an ad when you're in front of somebody? You look at the ad and you're like, all
Are
right.
you a hacker?
But I was out on a date and I mentioned it and she was like, well, I see puppies. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I see butterflies.
Oh, like on a paper image. Yeah, some
No,
type of
on
holographic.
a digital billboard.
Oh, the digital billboard. Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
tell
don't know.
you
I've
that.
seen anything.
They'll spend more money
Yeah,
on
it's just-
ads in subways than fixing the goddamn trains.
well, I tell you, you know, these radio frequency transponders that get implanted the sinuses, they can also be attached to the eye, and you can receive 3D images telepathically.
This is a scary time, my friend. By the way, what kind?
Yeah.
I don't want. Don't give me your. I mean, I think you did kind of give me your real name, but what code name can I call you?
You know, in Japan they call me Goku.
Goku from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Me and Akira Toriyama. You know, we used to make cartoons. 60s. When I
You-
filed the FBI report last year, you know, because I started regaining a lot of my memories, so washing out the sinuses with the lemon oil. Horrible headaches. You know, I thought I was going to die.
I
And
might have to
I
try
started
that. I
recovering
might
the
have to try
memory.
that.
And about 4 days after I filed the FBI reports, you know, with Akira Toriyama, he ends up fucking dead.
Why did you file that FBI report on the creator of Dragon
Because
Ball?
it's my company, you know. It's me and Akira Toriyama, you know, we brought up the company together. Band-Aid,
You
does
brought
me and
up,
him. You know,
you brought up Bandai.
yeah. Before
Uh,
before we did Band-Aid, we were doing the Sinbad cartoon in my country, Iran.
The Sinbad
we
cartoon.
did.
All right.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah, we did that years ago. Before I spent a lot of time in Japan. My second cousins is Naruhito, Akido, and Fumihito, the emperor. This is my second cousins. So I think he went and he did. You know, they're doing some crazy.
Are you a time traveler? Because there.
You know, they say time traveler, and what it is there's railroads inside the earth that are able to travel the circumference of the earth faster than the earth can move. So
Like a
if you can travel
like a
faster than the
speed
earth
train.
can
They
move.
have those in Japan.
Yeah. So there's a lot of them, and a lot of them are circular tracks. Japan's got their own. Scotland's got their own. Spain has got their own. France has got their own. They're interconnected sometimes. And Italy's got their own. Greece has got their own.
But
America is trying to make their own, but they don't have one.
no, they don't want to put the airplane industry out of whack. They'll sacrifice so many people to airplanes before they ever do that.
Yeah, a lot of it, you know, they have to have permission.
So you're not a time traveler because it sounds like you're talking about going forward in time, which is very.
You know, in the '60s, people were after me and my mother, and then I skipped a couple of years there, and I skipped a couple more years in the '70s. I think I skipped a couple months in the '80s. It's probably about 15 years I skipped. Maybe when I was younger, I traveled back with my grandfather And then I flew around a couple of times. Pretty cold up there, my Lemurian friends. They're kind of like my babysitters. If you ever look at our country, Iran, the flag, we have the big lion carrying the sword. It's the Lemurians. They're nice people. Most of them practice Islam. So they kind of work with the Anunnakis, to keep to build the universe. We're planet builders. A lot of the stars, it's a big Fresnel lens that magnifies the nuclear explosions, condensing masses that are built. The Greys, they do a lot of star building also.
Wow.
I
mean, I've heard rumors through agencies about this, but I never got that deep. What advice do you have for humanity?
You have to be aware of what's good and what's wrong. There's other entities that are able to communicate malfeasant signals. You ever see, like, they talk about, like, the green demon, like in the Dragon Ball Z, like with the Piccolo. I was always telling Akira, he's not a nice guy. 90% of the green alien species they're not nice. Their culture it's a domineering, it's a methane-based culture. Their whole planet is polluted from over-mining. They do a lot of the silicon logic gates. A lot of that technology we've gotten from them. So they got the greens, and then there's the blues. They're related to them.
We're related to the greens.
Yeah, they're related to the greens. So we got problems with them, and then there's the tall blondes. A lot of it is they just want a fucking place to live. They fucked up their planet, right? Like, even with my culture, we're coming from the planet Mars. In our tradition, we say, oh well, we've been coming back to Earth for whatever it is, 100,000 years. The Persians, and we really fucked up Mars.
Why is Elon Musk such in a rush to get to Mars?
He's in a rush, to stick his nose and fuck with something else. And they can't get into Hollow Earth. Our technology, it blows them away. The army tries to go and they try to force entry into these underground caverns, and their fucking skulls start shaking. Yeah. And they they switch on the sonic guns. The fucking teeth fall out of the soldier's head. Fucking eyes start sucking.
Oh yeah, they were using that during the protests back in the day. Those giant. I have to ask, how can we tell who's good and who's bad before it's too late? You were talking about, like, people having a moral compass, but there's all these signals that are dictating, changing what we think is good and bad.
You gotta, it's to go back to the old, not promoting the suffering. What causes suffering of other people. Sometimes you can look on somebody's face and you can see what they're hungry for. Like during the conversation, you
Right.
watch Facebook views. But it's hard to tell. A lot of people that have been abused, they'll keep the sad face on, and then a lot of these people in the cults, they'll get the split personality. They'll put that RF transponder, and the main goal is they try to get up in between the hemispheres, to split the hemisphere, and then they'll put 3 fucking worms in there. One hitting your hypothalamus, and then they'll put the right and the left. It's a very advanced technology for slave control. Out there in outer space, a lot of these planet building activities are done by these giant cyborgs. If you take 1,000 goat carcasses and you keep wrapping the fucking muscle over there, You put a bunch of brains on there, and get your RF tags, and you can get that. You can build your own giants organically.
Wow,
That's a
I didn't know
that I
about
know
that.
too. You know,
How do you?
I
I have to ask. How do you feel about all this AI now and Chat GPT that taking over the world? Like I just
I think a lot of it is they're trying to push the crime association away from the criminal. You know, they can blame it on the AI. The AI is doing it now. Make it harder to track. Same thing with the crypto. It's harder to track. You know, when I came to America, they used to write down, if you had $100 bill, they knew the serial number at the Treasury office who owned it. You know, in the 70s, they had to
they're
put
using
$1,000 bill.
AI to make more crime. I'm a little confused there.
Yeah, I think that's what it is really just to make crime easier to happen, and then they can just blame it on the AI.
Because all I see is kids speeding through college.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Uh-huh.
I tell you, the Nosferatu, they've been at war against the Templars, a lot of the Catholic Church members, for more than 1,000 years. They've been hunting us. They've been calling us demons.
I'm sorry.
One of the things that are the technology that gets released is I think it's just trying to destroy the human society to make them weaker.
The Nosferatus?
Like even like with the prevalence of it. Yeah, I think it's it's like a what do they call that, the white propaganda, where it's like it's supposed to be like good, but it's really bad for you or something. I think that's what the white propaganda.
The white propaganda?
Yeah, like they got black propaganda, white propaganda, yellow propaganda. It's like a different way to say whether the lie is really the good lie or the bad lie. It's all bullshit anyways. But so a lot of the things that been coming up, like homosexuality.
You're breaking up there, friend.
I said, like they've been pushing like a homosexual agenda onto the human species also. If you really want to destroy your enemy, you stop them from being able to breed. So you got that coming in. You got the.
Well, it feels like we're overpopulated, to be honest.
It's not true. There's plenty of open space.
Yeah, but there's nothing out in the open space. People want to live in towns.
You gotta build it. You gotta build it up.
But what do you think is the homosexual agenda? Like, you think brunch is a part of it and buying antique furniture?
I think what it is like we're telling you about, like the green aliens.
Yeah,
they're able. They communicate on the methane frequency. So if there's a cloud of methane somewhere,
like propane.
Floating, yeah, like similar, propane. Yeah, you've got an extra carbon on there. So homosexuals, they're like a walking methane pit. Now once the anus gets gapped open, methane is leaking out. Worms get in there. It's a whole. They get the wire connections to the nose, straight to the brain.
Wow, all right.
They've been complaining about the demons for years.
You think the demons are part of the homosexual agenda?
I think so. If you wanted to get rid of a civilization to conquer them, right? If you can't beat them militarily wise, you get them to defeat themselves.
Wow. Yeah, this is there's a lot to digest.
Because It came back. It came back in the 1950s. They kept trying to push it back, and so they're also like with the cocaine use.
Oh yeah, what about
that'll stimulate the natural receptors in the brain to receive the alien communications. You know, a lot of people complain about they have the hallucinations on the cocaine. I saw the devil. What did he look like? What color was his?
I feel like people don't hallucinate when they take cocaine. They just are...
Yeah, well, you depends what you got to be looking up for. You know, do you look up at the roof of the room where the methane is collected at to see the rift opening up? That's usually where they hang out at, is at the top of the room where the gas is.
The demons?
Lighter. Yeah. So that's where a lot of the traffic goes around.
Is there anything I could use to see the demons?
You know, there's a lot of different species out there. You know, like the green. It's not just one green species out there. You know, there's about half a dozen of them. And, so some of them are benevolent.
It sounds like they're trying to gas you. Should we? I don't know if we should keep talking. They might be trying to lock your signal.
Yeah, I've been poisoned by the CIA. You know, they hit me with the ricin in the 1980s. Put a bunch of things in my nose. I got to keep with the lemon. I eat the lemon bread. You got to spit it out. What other choice you got? Take a sneeze.
Right.
You know, they got that machine.
What machine?
The Navage.
What's
the nose cleaning machine. They sell it at Walgreens.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Worth its weight in gold if you pick it up.
I think
you gotta get off the migraine. You put that lemon oil in your ears. Sounds like they got something put in your ears.
I'll definitely look into that. As far as I know, I've checked my body, and I think it's just subliminal messaging. But I'll definitely try that too, friend. But why did you take a risk in reaching out to me? How you don't know?
I got diplomatic immunity. I can defend myself. And so pretty much what it come down to is if I die, we start hitting the nuclear bombs buttons.
If you die?
Yeah, that's what it just switched back to. If I die, Iran starts firing the buttons.
Well, why?
We're sick of this. We're sick of this. We're sick of the CIA, the plots against us.
You mentioned
I knew Donald Trump back in the 80s. In the 1980s, he was trying to get on the Soul Train.
He was trying to get on the Soul Train show?
Yeah, he was trying to get famous. You know, my family, we do a lot of the...
Is that why he's always dancing?
Yeah, he's a little dancing fool.
He was... Wow, I never heard that one. That's pretty funny. Do you have any access to the Epstein files?
So the Epstein... You know, I knew Ghislaine Maxwell. She used to come to New York when I was here. Well, I got a couple of memories of being on the boat with Ghislaine Maxwell, and she bringing the young girls. This is in the late 70s. So I remember she brought in a bunch of young girls. I was young myself. And,
right.
And then,
you went to the island?
Yeah, well, later on we went to the island. I killed a couple of people on the island.
Why did you kill a couple of people on the island?
Yeah, they had a couple of crazy old come into the room. Time to jump up and karate chop. They had my other two second cousins there from Japan, Fumihito. He was on the island. We were killing motherfuckers over there too. They put us on in the early 70s. They got a couple islands around New York where they'd be setting up crazy situations.
Oh, okay.
You know, they've been trying to do a lot of blackmail. You know, don't fall for the blackmail. Clean yourself out. You know, you got to be careful because the Nosferatus, we've got some very good technology of having underground access to homes and apartments without you noticing.
Yeah.
We're able to,
I was part of one of those projects. Yeah.
where they come out and they get
Very disturbing, and now Hollywood is trying to make movies about it. I don't know if you ever saw the Barbarian movie, but that definitely a light onto that it shocked me. And I think Sicario had that too. Been a couple of movies that have tried to shine lights to that, but
yeah, Dark City, yeah.
Oh
Dark
yeah,
City
that's the old one.
Yeah. They kidnap me for the movie. They bring me on there, and then they get the they try to get the rights to do the filming, because I owned a lot of companies, Sony, Paramount. We did the Star Trek shows years ago. CBS trying to have a lot of bullshit with CBS trying to take over.
You own Sony? Can you explain what is going on with Sony and Spider-Man? They made all these bad Spider-Man rip-off movies. I don't.
What it is I've been coming back. Probably about the past 2 years, I've recovered my memories. I'm trying to get back control of my company, because they did some weird shit in the courts, saying that I'm incompetent or whatever. I got amnesia, so they put a lot of the companies in trust. BlackRock is my company.
What company?
And so I got. So, like with the Spider-Man, if you look at all the stories, a lot of these, some of them are based on facts, but a lot of them have like a really dangerous, very dangerous story to tell the children and adults. And some of them are downright horribly dangerous to be used as propaganda by these nefarious cults.
You talking about it's the Spider-Verse movies talking about alternate dimension?
Well, like some of them, like with the X-Men, being like a secret, group, financed by the government,
The
taking
X-Men?
all these collectively. Yeah. People get the wrong idea. People are trying to get the superpowers. I tell you, like the cybernetic upgrades, that's a horrible business. They'd be implanting things under your skin. Trying to put metal wires, connect them from.
Were you behind Ratatouille? Because I remember when Ratatouille came out, there were a couple people that were trying to speak up about MK mind control with that movie.
I remember, because usually when they get me, I've been kind of like been on, like breathing like with one nostril for like fucking 30 years. I've been all clogged up. They cracked my skull, They broke my toes. Motherfuckers, they burned my skin, and then they put the skin graft. They soaked the skin graft in LSD and put that over my skin. So I've been like microdosed with LSD for 30 fucking years.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like every 5 years, like I got another memory of this crazy situation of like having to fight, 5 CIA guys, and then getting gas.
What do you think? What do you think is the worst drug they've made so far?
The worst drug that they've made so far? Dude, they got so many natural things, fucking fungus coming up.
Yes, the Last of Us, the popularity of that show and fungus that feels like it's a red flag, a warning for something.
Yeah, you really have to be careful. You have to live in the sunshine. Once you start spending too much time in the dark, even the natural funguses in the body start taking control. Your abdomen starts swelling up. You got to get your sunshine. You got any more? It's crazy, but that's like the dividing line between the people that want to live in the darkness, underground and play with the fucking worms to try to extend the life, or stay above ground and take the sunshine and drink the fucking juice. So, we build mummies. But mummies, a lot of people, they're living for 400 years with the cybernetics. You take a fucking pig heart, put a pig heart in there, keep it pumping.
Wow. I should let you go. You got anything else you want to tell me? Any wise words? Any advice?
Contact the FBI. You tell them Goku's not fucking around. I said there's a hurricane coming, and there's another one after that, and I'm gonna earthquake their ass. Not fucking around. Anunnaki's not fucking around.
Well, I was thinking.
I was involved.
I was thinking more personal level. I'm not gonna mess with the FBI.
You gotta stick up for yourself. Don't be afraid. They say you have to have like a getaway bag. Put some money inside the bag, $2,000, in case you got to go to Mexico, in case you got to go to Canada. If you come to my country, Iran, we have free college. We'll teach you Farsi, and you can learn. We have a universal map.
All right. So the best countries to escape to from the U.S.: Mexico, Canada, Iran. Is anything else?
Well, you have to be very polite when you come to Iran. You're going to be interrogated.
Right.
You can go to Japan. You can learn about I think that's the best way for you to get a top secret education outside of being experimented on in the United States. Because essentially the Nosferatus have rank over the CIA.
I'm sorry, the Nosferatus have rank over the CIA.
Yeah, over the Pentagon. They have rank over the Pentagon.
Wow.
If the Pentagon doesn't do what they say, they press
we don't got no Blade or Van Helsing, guys. What's going on?
The Van Helsing, see, that's the bullshit. You're trying to kill somebody saying they're a vampire. They're just people with wings. They have feelings too. I tell you, it's a bullshit story. The vampire is a bullshit story. To make people afraid. To stop hunting
I've
them.
never seen a person with wings, but I'll keep my eyes open.
Well, you can come out at night and you keep your eyes open for the over 1,000 feet in the air. You don't come down unless we're in the countryside where it's safe.
Do you think AI is going to take over and put us in the Matrix, or are we already in the Matrix?
Well, like, what's the Matrix? Like, where you're hearing shit, from underground broadcasters, or overhead broadcasters? Is that the fucking Matrix? It's just people fucking with your time. You could take the brain can stay alive, transplant. So if you got somebody's brain that's like hard set to transmit whatever thoughts, like go smell the mushrooms, some old fucking hippie brain that's been thinking the same fucking thoughts again and again. Go smell the mushrooms. Go smell the mushrooms. They chop off his head and put it on a vine. Cut the vine so you can have the juices come and go. They can keep that head going, and if they can attenuate the signal, either out. Usually they can try to catch it through the eyebrow, a ridge on the cranial bone, and attenuate the signal off of that bone ridge. Or the nose, they can propagate that signal for another 100 years. They keep that dead head alive. Go smell the mushroom.
I guess the rumors of Walt Disney still being alive are true.
Hey! I knew Walt Disney. Cloning is real. They're not 100% identical. The clones, a lot of them, like the memories can't be transferred.
You just reminded me. Have you heard of the Alpha Protocol project with Dr. Friggins?
No, I haven't heard about that. What's that one about?
This is something I just came across recently. An experiment where they are trying, through signals, it seems like, imprint someone's entire mind and personality, like copied over to another body, almost like a computer when you download a file to another computer. I
don't know about the transferring. It's I know that they can
I don't know.
There's organic.
It's something I just came across, and the doctor who did it, he did it on his own son. He took over his son's body, and there seems to be some complications where both the mind and the personality are fighting over the body. It's very disturbing. But I would look up the Alpha Protocol project. There's a video on YouTube that someone posts.
Yeah, it's all, a lot of it's possible. They're organic computers, and you know, it's whether you want. Why does it have to be done? You know, is this going to cause more suffering to people? You know.
Yeah, I don't, some people want to live forever. Are they cloning Tom Cruise? That was a weird theory about him. I've always felt like he keeps dying and coming back.
You know, there's a lot of beheadings. You know, you can transplant the head to a different body. A lot of the big time travelers, the tunnels that they go through, they're very small, so they just send the head through. I see a lot of people walking around, and the head's very large compared to the body. So like the head's like gone through, and it's cycled up a bunch of you know, depositions on the bone structure, so it's actually grown. You know, whatever fucking traveling through. The future, it's fucked up, man. You know, the planet gets a lot of explosions. A lot of people that are coming back, they're coming back telling people to stop fucking bombing.
Yeah.
Stop polluting.
Yeah,
you know, you only get.
I feel like we're you know, it feels too late. Do you think the dinosaurs knew that they were gonna die? Do you think the dinosaurs knew?
You figure, you know, they have to know something with that. They had quite large brains to process other communications. You know? There's a lot of different species communicating, or a lot of different frequencies. You know.
Wow, I have to ask you.
Compassion. You know? You gotta keep the crazy monkeys in line. You know?
Right. Is this why we can't talk to dolphins?
I've been pushing the FBI to do a full disclosure. You know, they have to admit that they're bankrupt. They have to admit that they've done a lot of foolish hunting expeditions. You know, because a lot of it, you know, they try to build up a big fighting unit. Now we're going to go to outer space and we're going to fight the Anunnaki. You know, we're going to kick some Lemurian ass. You know, and they just get, you know, they end up as get recycled. You know, it's kind of like the Borg. You ever watch Star Trek?
Yes, I remember Cyborg. Yes.
Well, you know, we tried to tell a lot of history lessons through the Star Trek. You know, you see like a lot of it, like, you know, there's a voice from God. You know, they come down to a planet, right? And
you prefer Star Trek over Star Wars? It sounds like.
When we were filming the Star Wars, there was my uncle Mohammed Reza Pahlavi. He was the big advocate of fighting. You know, he didn't grow up with the Lemurians, and he wasn't, and he was always kind of at war with them. And, you know, thinking that, you know, we can fight them in another way,
are the
and that we can get to
real?
the next level. Pardon me?
Are the xenomorphs real?
The xenomorphs were like, those are like half robots or something?
No, the creatures from Alien.
Oh, so what it is, you know, outer space is a very hazardous area, and oftentimes there's there's fucking, you know, 90% methane debris. You know, maybe 5% nitrogen. So, you know, if you get yourself an octopus, and, you know, you take back a couple layers of skin on your skull, you take back a couple layers of skin on the blue octopus, you can surgically attach a methane filtration unit. So
Right.
there's a lot of different adaptations with sea creatures and other animals that are used oftentimes on Lemurians. Like they're big cats, you know. So if you imagine like a Lemurian, her mother passed away, so she chops off her head, the mother's head, and punks a hole inside her, one of her veins, and she attaches the brain to herself. You do that 3 times, and now you got the head as big as an alien.
Jeez, listen.
As, you know, like on the movie, you know.
You've told me a lot. I don't want to keep you up so they don't track you. Any good?
Yeah, that's just what it is. It looks crazy, you know. Then they get covered with oil. You know, the oil's like the black tar. That's a preservation technique, you know, to keep the bugs off you. It's very nasty in space.
Wow.
You know, there's the flies. The flies go up there. They don't die in 30 days. They go up to outer space. They get bigger. They get through the whole recycling. And like the praying mantis, they don't die in 6 months. They go fly up there and they keep growing.
Wow. You really told me a lot that I have to digest.
Yeah, you know, I try to get them to publish the free books. You know, the Vatican has to update their records. You know, even my own country, you know, a lot of the stuff we keep classified, you know, just so we don't spread more demon bullshit. You know, like if you start telling people about this, hey, you know, you do this with the laser and you know, this with the methane, you can have this communication. You just got more fucking problems in your society. You know?
Listen, friend, I gotta go. I think I got people coming near my camp, so I gotta keep an eye out. Got any advice for another spy to stay safe out here?
Get yourself a good dog. You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, I say my prayer to Allah. Allah watch over me. You know, I got you. You know, the hands are faster than any time you could grab a gun. You know, you got to prepare to strike with the hands first.
Strike with the hands. Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Thank you. Thank you, friend. You stay safe out there, right?
I got the headbutt too. You know, take it easy, brother. You know, I got this phone number, so that happened. You know, I try to look me up on Instagram if you got access to it. It's all blacked out on my end.
What's your
name? I got Pahlavi. I put the Shabazz Nicholas Pahlavi.
Oh, on the text message.
Yeah. Nicholas Pahlavi.
So just look that up on Instagram. All right.
See if it shows up. I don't know. I'm hacked with the NSA.
All right, I'll try. I'll try. All right, I gotta go. They're getting close. All right, you stay safe out there, right?
Thanks. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Oh my god, that was so insane, bro. That went for 40 fucking minutes. I was like, I can't keep this up. This man is insane. I know his name now. Oh fuck. I don't know why you laughing. He was spinning. Why did you tell them you were on Twitch? Bro, I don't know, because he's fucking crazy. I gave him one hit. If he looks up the Alpha Protocol Project, that is a video on YouTube on my YouTube. So if he does look that up, but I was debating that, but like he was so fucking crazy that I was just like, I don't know if I want, but like